Here's your wrestling news for December 9th, 2022. And we're kicking off today with WWE, and since May, Sasha Banks hasn't been seen on TV after she and Naomi walked out of an episode of Raw over creative differences. Despite reports dating back to August that both would be returning to TV soon, that hasn't happened, and there has been a blockbuster update on Banks' situation. According to PW Insider, Banks is expected to be at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 17 event next month, and while it is unclear whether she'll be competing or even appear on the broadcast, it's said that New Japan are specifically bringing her in. Whatever the situation is, the fact that the boss is heading to Wrestle Kingdom is a huge deal, especially as it's been reported the talks between herself and WWE have recently stalled. Some have also speculated that Banks could soon be AEW bound and that she will be Saraya's mystery partner for the January 11th, 2023 Dynamite, just 1 week after Wrestle Kingdom. New Japan and AEW have a working relationship, but could this lead to Sasha Banks making appearances for both promotions and leaving WWE behind? Let us know what you think in the comments. Now, of course, nothing's been confirmed by Tony Khan in regard to Banks possibly joining AEW, but that hasn't stopped the fans and the roster from speculating. Banks as Saraya's mystery partner certainly makes a lot of sense, as it was the boss who delivered the kick that would cause the British star to miss 5 years in the ring. In an update from Fightful Select, it's noted that several AEW talents are excited that Banks could be joining AEW, with one source saying that she could be the answer to the promotion's falling TV ratings. It was earlier this year that Fightful reported how Banks wasn't going to accept any wrestling-related bookings until January 1st, so an appearance for New Japan and possible debut for AEW certainly fits within the timeline. While talk between WWE and the boss have stalled, we imagine the company doesn't want to see Banks appear for AEW, so expect both promotions to try and win over the former SmackDown Women's Champion. During this week's AEW Dynamite, William Regal had his final appearance on the broadcast, in which he said he'll be Blackpool Combat Club until the day he dies. Tony Khan has confirmed that Regal will leave AEW at the end of the year, and while many believe a WWE return is imminent, that hasn't been confirmed just yet. Speaking during the NXT Deadline conference call, the Gold Brand's leader Shawn Michaels was asked about Regal's return and admitted that nothing has been confirmed yet. With all due respect for William Regal and what it means to NXT and the WWE and of course wrestling at all levels, nothing would thrill me more than to have him back. I'll give you more information. I would obviously stay tuned because hopefully we all know a little bit more if we get down the road, but honestly right now I'm the guy who's been reading from you guys, so that's what we're after for the time being. Regal was part of NXT as the general manager and backstage trainer for years before being cut this past January. When asking for his release, Regal told Khan that he hopes to spend more time with his son, NXT superstar Charlie Dempsey, a noble endeavor for the British legend, but one that is yet to be confirmed by WWE themselves. For decades, Sean Waltman, better known to fans as X-Pac, entertained fans in the ring, going from the rookie 1-2-3 kid to becoming a two-time WWE Hall of Famer. It's been over 20 years since X-Pac's last match in WWE, a 10-man tag on the July 8, 2002 edition of Raw, but don't rule out a possible in-ring return just yet. Speaking on the media call for NXT Deadline, Shawn Michaels was asked about Waltman wrestling for the White and Gold brand and said it's something of a possibility. Michaels commended his DX teammate on being on the best shape he's been in for a long time, but said that it's an idea he'd have to run up the flagpole and see how the bosses feel about it. Waltman hasn't wrestled for WWE in decades, but he has kept active in wrestling, with his most recent match being against Joey Janela in March of this year. The man known as X-Pac would certainly have plenty to teach the superstars of NXT, and even after reaching his 50th birthday this year, don't count out Sean Waltman lacing up his boots again. Ever since AEW All Out, there have been rumors of CM Punk's departure from AEW and a possible return to WWE. Punk is reportedly wanting to have his AEW contract bought out, and Triple H has reportedly softened his views on Punk and would be willing to talk to him about a return. It's been reported that many in WWE believe bringing Punk back would be a bad idea, and when speaking to Wrestling Inc., Apollo Crews shared his 2 cents on the matter. It's not that I wouldn't be happy or I wouldn't be upset. I don't know if I'd really feel any kind of way, honestly. It's nothing against him personally or anything, but I don't know. I think I'd just kind of be neutral with it. But again, extremely talented individual, and only time will tell, right? Punk walked out of WWE over a year before Crews would sign with the promotion, but the two could work together next year. Those close to Triple H have warned the head of talent that Punk will only bring problems, like those we've seen in AEW, but it'll ultimately be the game's call as to whether the two sides talk about a deal. One name fans can still see in AEW is Morrissey, as the 7-footer debuted for the promotion earlier this year, being the mystery opponent for Wardlow on the May 4th Dynamite. Morrissey's impressive performance led to him returning in August, and he's now a fully fledged member of the roster, and he now has a brand new name. In a Twitter post from AEW promoting an upcoming match, Morrissey is referred to as Big Bill, and he and Lee Moriarty will be in tag team action on tonight's episode of Rampage. While AEW have given Morrissey this new name, it wasn't around for long, as the tweet has since been deleted, fueling speculation over what his name will actually be. I guess we'll only know for certain when tonight's episode of AEW Rampage airs, but after some difficult years, Big Bill, or W. Morrissey, is looking to re-establish himself as part of Tony Khan's company. More from AEW now, as Jamie Hayter has become one of the biggest names of the women's division after dethroning Toni Storm for the Women's World Championship. As champion, Hayter is guaranteed TV time and prominent feuds, but this is a far cry from how things were for her just a few years ago. Like many, Hayter found herself struggling for work during the COVID-19 pandemic, and when speaking to Sports Illustrated, spoke about returning to her native England after a handful of dates in Japan. "There was no work in Japan. I was supposed to go home, then they'd bring me back. I left, but I didn't have anywhere to live. I remember saying, 'Holy shit, homeless.' I had nowhere to go and no idea what I was going to do. Fortunately, I stayed with my friends and lived on their couch." After staying with her friends for some time, Hayter learned that Toni Storm was also struggling, and Hayter's friends allowed her to stay with them. Thankfully, both women are in a much better position now, but Hayter will never forget just how difficult things were a couple of years ago. And we're ending today with Cody Rhodes, who hasn't been used on WWE TV since suffering a torn pectoral in June, hours before competing inside Hell in a Cell. Fighting through pain, Rhodes competed against Seth Rollins inside the barbaric structure, but underwent pectoral surgery shortly after. This week, fans have been given an update on Rhodes' condition, and the American Nightmare is looking ready for the ring. When a fan shared a pic with Cody, Rhodes looked absolutely ripped and certainly looks ready to wrestle very soon. Despite WWE saying at the start of his injury that Rhodes is expected to be out until March at the very earliest, Cody is a favorite to win next month's Men's Royal Rumble match. In his heartfelt promo on the post-WrestleMania 38 Raw, Cody spoke about fulfilling a promise made to his late father to become WWE Champion, and going by this picture, the American Nightmare looks ready to take on the head of the table. That's it, guys. That's your wrestling news for today. Make sure to check out our channel for amazing wrestling content. Also, subscribe to our channel for daily wrestling news.